This is a song about an Irish labourer by the name of Tim Finnegan. Comes to work with a heavy head after a hard night's drinking. He falls from a ladder and breaks his skull. The rest of the song tells what happened at his wake. Now, the title of this song was basically purloined, there's no other word for it, by a certain Irish writer by the name of Jimmy Joyce for a very long novel he wrote full of hard words, most of which he made up himself. And I doubt if there's more than a small handful of people on the planet who've actually read the whole thing straight through. Anyway, he called his novel Finnegans Wake. So I'm calling this Finnegans Wake, the musical. Now, there may be a few souls out there who are not Irish, so there's likely to be a few words and phrases you're not familiar with, so I'll go over some of them before I start so you'll understand it a bit better. The first is hod. To rise in the world, he carried a hod. Now, a hod is sort of an open metal box on a pole for carrying bricks. It's open on the top and on one side and on the front. So Tim's job was carrying bricks. He really was working his way up from the bottom. The next is crather. He'd drop the crather every morning. Crather is an Irish word that comes from creature. It's like saying eat a drop of the stuff every morning. Reading between the lines, the stuff in this case is poitín. Poitín is an Irish moonshine and it can get as high as 190 proof. Porter. Irish porter is a dark beer, a bit like stout. Gob. Your gob is your face. You still hear it in expressions like gobsmacked. And finally, shillelagh law. Shillelagh law was all the rage. Shillelagh law basically means no law at all. A real free-for-all Irish Donnybrook. Now, the verse of the song, which repeats throughout, says, "Welt the floor, your trotters shake." Welt the floor is hit the floor so hard it brings up welts, and your trotters are your feet. Now, getting to the song, I'm not going to sing most of it, but the verse cries out to be sung, and it makes no sense if it isn't. Tim Finnegan lived on Walker Street, a gentleman Irish mighty odd. He had a brogue both broad and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hod. But Tim had a sort of a tippling way. With the love of the liquor he was born. And to help him on with his work each day, he'd a drop of the crather every morn. Whack for the doodah, dance to your partner, wet the floor, your trotters shake. Isn't it the truth I tell ya? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. One morning Tim felt rather full. His head was heavy, his hand did shake. He fell from a ladder and broke his skull, and they carried him home, his corpse to wake. They rolled him up in a nice clean sheet. They laid him out upon the bed, with a bucket of whiskey at his feet, and a barrel of porter at his head. Rock for the doo-doo, dance to your partner, welt the floor, your trotters shake. Isn't it the truth I tell ya? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. His friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. At first they brought in tea and cake, then pipe tobacco and whiskey punch. Then Biddy Malone began to cry. Such a lovely corpse did you ever see? Arrah, Tim of Ornia, why did you die? You hold your gob, says Molly McGee. Then Maggie McGuire takes up the job. Oh, Bitty, she says, you're wrong, I'm sure. Well, Bitty gave her a belt in the gob that left her sprawled out on the floor. Soon civil war did all engage. 'Twas woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage. In the row and the ruction that began, what for to do to dance to your partner, wet the floor your trotters shake. Isn't it the truth I tell ya? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. Then Timmy Maloney raised his head, and a barrel of whiskey flew at him. It missed, and landing on the bed, the whiskey splatters over Tim. Bedad, he revives. See how he rises. Timothy gets up from the bed, saying, whittle your whiskey round like the blazes. Thunder and Jesus, do you think I'm dead?